Hello everybody, we're going to do some more measuring in our maths learning today. Now already this week we've been measuring with non-standard units, little shapes that are all the same size that we can put along the edge of something to find out how long or how short it is and count how many things we've used to measure an object. Today we're going to use something different. We're going to use something called standard measures. Now, I showed you a ruler last week, didn't I? Now, I was measuring the ruler last week, but on the other side of the ruler, the little lines and the numbers on my ruler are called centimetres, and that's a standard measure that everybody uses. We can measure lots of things using centimetres. This ruler has got centimetres up to 30, so I can measure things that are up to 30 centimetres long. In the classroom we have tape measures, don't we? We've got some blue tape measures in our classrooms and they've got centimetres marked on them as well. So we can use the centimetres to measure how long or how short or how wide or how narrow different objects are. Now, my ruler measures up to 30 centimetres, but I'm going to show you another measure that we use, and this is a much longer ruler. It's still got centimetres on it, and it starts at 0 and it goes all the way up to 30 like my small ruler, but I can keep measuring in centimetres, and when I get all the way up to 100 centimetres, that changes and that has a special name. So the whole length of this stick is now called a metre. So can you see that's much bigger than my 30 centimetre ruler. So when I want to measure big things, I can use metres and count how many metres might measure the room or the size of the door or how tall or short you are. But when I'm measuring smaller things, I need to use centimetres. Now I hope that you might have a ruler or a tape measure at your house, and I want you to just have a practice at measuring carefully in centimetres. So that's the first thing I want you to do. If you've got a centimetres on your ruler or your tape measure, then just like we had to measure really carefully with our non-standard units, we're going to have to again start at the beginning, right at the end of the tape measure, put it at the end of the object that we're going to measure, and then count how many to the end of the object, the other end of the object. So shall we have a go? Let's have a look. I've got some things here that I'm going to measure. Oh, let's have a measure at the Duplo brick. Now, we were using our Duplo bricks to measure with, weren't we? But let's see how long the Duplo brick is. So I'm going to measure the longest part of my objects again today. So very carefully, I put the end of my tape measure or my ruler at the end of the object I'm measuring, and I spread it along to the end of the object to see how many centimetres it measures. And the number at the end of the Duplo brick is 6 centimetres. So I'm going to write that down. And I know some of you were really good at writing down your measuring activities already this week. So I've put 6, and then the two letters there, the C and the M, are the way that we write centimetres. That's how we write it to show that it's a measurement. Okay, what's next on my list? Oh, it's a tin. Oh, I had some nice biscuits given to me at Christmas. So, I'm going to measure the longest part of my tin, my cylinder tin. So again, I'm going to put the end of my tape measure at the end of my tin. I'm going to hold it tight, and grown-ups I know will help you. It's a bit fiddly sometimes. I'm going to put it straight down to the bottom of my tin to see how far the tin gets to on my tape measure, and I can read on my tape measure that it says 14 centimetres. So I'm going to write that down. So the tin measures 14 centimetres. Okay, now, when I did my shopping the other day, I bought a breadstick. Now I thought this is a good shape to measure because it's much longer than the tin and the Duplo brick, and nobody's eaten it yet. So let's have a look and see if how fiddly this will be. I'm going to start at this end of the breadstick, and I'm going to put it to the other end so it's much, much longer, so my tape measure is having to spread a lot further. And I've got right to the end of my breadstick, and I can see that it's 63 centimetres. I know you can't see that, but when you do your own measuring, you'll be able to read off your tape measure really carefully. So that's a big number, isn't it? Grown-ups, I know you will help your children read those big numbers, but we know that you can see already that that's a much longer object than the tin or the brick. Okay, last one. I just happen to have my iPad here, and again I'm going to measure the longest part of my iPad, and I think we're getting the hang of this now. I think you'll know what to do, won't you? Put your ruler or your tape measure with centimetres on at one end, and then see how far your tape measure has to go to get to the other end. And on my iPad I've read 24 centimetres, so I'm going to write that down. And I hope that that has shown you that you can have lots of fun measuring lots of different objects around your house, your toys as well. See how good you are and how careful you are at measuring carefully with your tape measures and rulers. Now, also on your activity today, I'm going to give you a little quiz. Now, when I was talking to you before about using centimetres, I also told you that when you get to 100 centimetres, that makes a metre, and you need to use metres to measure bigger objects. So on your activity that I'll post today, I want you to see if you can make a guess about the best measurement you could use for some objects. So if the object was your house, would you measure your house in centimetres, those little measures, or in metres, which would be one of those at a time? What would be the best measurement, do you think? I hope you thought that it was metres. You'd have to use metres because the object that you are measuring, your house, is a big, tall object, isn't it? So have a little go at the quiz as well to see if you can decide whether you would measure things in centimetres or metres, and have lots of fun practicing your measuring skills using your centimetres today. See you soon. Bye.